We're going to finish up Captain Underpants and the Wrath of the Wicked Wedgie Woman. Here we go. Chapter 21, The Ruthless Revenge of the Wicked Wedgie Woman. Wedgie Woman headed to the center of town to meet up with Robo George and the Herald 2000. "Well done, my precious robots," said the Wedgie Woman affectionately. "Oh, what's all this then?" said a policeman who had just arrived on the scene. Nothing, officer," said Wedgie Woman. "Just the beginning of my total world domination." "Oh, okay," said the cop. "Hey, wait a minute." Before the police officer could voice his objections, a twisted dreadlock from Wedgie Woman's head shot out and grabbed the cop by the back of his underwear. The colossal Herald 2000 lifted the officer and hung him from a stop sign. "Owie, wowie!" cried the cop. Soon more police officers headed to the scene, but they all met with the same terrible fate as the first policeman. Before long, every cop in the city was hanging from a street sign. "Call the National Guard!" screamed the police chief of police. "Call the Army! Call the Marines! Call a hairstylist!" Soon the armed forces arrived with a whole fleet of tanks and helicopters, but everybody was afraid to shoot. Wedgie Woman was just too quick. The giant robots stomped around the city as Wedgie Woman barked out her commands. "Everybody on Earth must obey me," cried the wicked Wedgie Woman. "If anybody refuses, they'll get the wedgie. If anybody tries to stop me, it's wedgie time. Bow down to me or welcome to Wedgieville." Soon George and Harold arrived at the scene. They hid in some bushes and watched the terror unfold. "Oh, we've got to rescue Captain Underpants," whispered George. "He's the only one who can save the world." "But how?" whispered Harold. "He's got no superpowers left." "Sure he does," said George. "Starch doesn't really take away superpowers. He just thinks it does. We've got to change his mind." "I sure hope we can," said Harold. Chapter 22. They can't. George and Harold ran to the pole where the heartbroken hero was hanging. "Hey, Captain Underpants," cried Harold. "You've got to come down from there and save the city." I can't," whined the waistband warrior. "Need fabric softener." "No, you don't need fabric softener," said George sternly. "That was just a dumb joke in one of our comics." "But you don't understand," said Captain Underpants. "Starch is the enemy of underwear. Only fabric softener can save me." "Rats," said Harold in frustration. "Hey, George, are there any stories around here? Or stores?" Yeah, said George. "A new one just opened up down on Oak Street." Then let's go buy some fabric softener," said Harold. "It'll be easier than trying to reason with the guy." "How's that going to help?" asked George. "It's all in his mind," Harold explained. "If he believes the fabric softener will save him, then it probably will. I think it's called the placenta effect." So George and Harold ran to Oak Street. "What's the name of that store?" asked Harold. I can't remember," said George. "I think it's called Everything Except Fabric Softener, the store for all of your non-fabric softening needs." "Oh, man," said George. "We're doomed," cried Harold. "Listen," said George, "we've got to make another comic book." "Now?" asked Harold. It's our only hope," said George. "The fate of the entire planet is in our hands." So the two boys bought some paper and a few pencils and got down to work. 22 minutes later, George and Harold had created an all-new Captain Underpants adventure. They ran back to the pole where Captain Underpants was hanging and tossed their new comic up to him. "Well, this is no time to be reading comics," said Captain Underpants. "Just read it, said Harold. "Yeah," said George. "You might learn something." Chapter 23, The Origin of Captain Underpants, the true untold story by George Beard and Harold Hutchins. The Origin of Captain Underpants, the true untold story by George Beard, G. Beard, and H. Hutchins. A far time ago, in a galaxy long, long away, there was a planet called Underpanty World. Underpanty World was a peaceful planet where everybody wore only underwear. Ha ha ha, I can see your underwear. I can see yours too, ha ha ha. Hey, what are you doing under there? Underwear. Ha ha ha, you said underwear. Ha ha. Everybody liked wearing underwear so much that they never got into fights, and they didn't have no wars either. It was cool. But one day, all of the happiness ended abruptly. Bad guys, Starship Enterprise, WW. Wedgie warlords had arrived. View screen. Hi, boss. Let's spray that planet with starch. Oh, okay. I hate those guys. The good people of Underpanty World got us scared, so they ran to their leader, Big Daddy Long Johns. Help us, Big Daddy Long Johns. Okay. Don't worry. I have a magic amulet that will protect us from starch. Yippee! But he accidentally dropped the magic amulet. Oopsie. It fell into the mouth of his newborn son, little baby Underpants. Gulp. Oh no, he swallowed it. We're doomed. Just then, the Wedgie Warlord sprayed starch on Underpanty World. Big Daddy Longjohns and his lovely wife, Princess Pantyhose, knew that their planet was a goner, so they decided to save their baby. Burp. So they stretched his underwear really far. Stretch. Then they let go and shot him into space. Zing. Whee! Be good. Don't pick your nose. Little baby Underpants sailed through space as his home planet crumbled behind him. Boom. Oh, man. Soon little baby Underpants fell to Earth. Bonk. Welcome to Earth. Little baby got adopted by some old guys. Oh, my, he's so cute. Let's adopt him. Okay. They named him Captain after their favorite cereal. Hi, Captain. Hi, Captain Crunch. But as the years went by, Captain became very sad. For some strange reason, he never ever seemed to fit in. Why do I feel so different? Then one night he had a weird dream. He saw his old planet and his other parents. Hi, son. How's it going? Son, you aren't like other people. You are a superhero guy. Also, you have a magic amulet inside you. It will protect you from the evils of starch. All you have to do is say these words. I summon the power of Underpanty World, and you will overcome the power of starch. Okay. So Captain awoke up and became a cool superhero guy. And he never had to be scared of starch no more, even if Wedgie Woman Robot sprayed him with it, because all he had to do was say, I summon the power of Underpanty World, and he would be free. Well, what are you waiting for? Just say the words. Chapter 24, The Placenta Effect. Well, said Captain Underpants, I didn't realize that I had the power within me all along to overcome the evils of starch. Just say the words, shouted George and Harold. Okay, said Captain Underpants, but I think it's just a great metaphor for... Just say the words, yelled George and Harold. All right, said Captain Underpants, but all I'm saying is that just say the words, screamed George and Harold. You know, said Captain Underpants, you kids have no feel for dramatic attention. Then he cleared his throat and spoke in a powerful voice. I summon the power of Underpanty World. Suddenly, Captain Underpants rose triumphantly into the air. He was free at last. When the gigantic robot saw that Captain Underpants had escaped, the Herald 2000 launched its rocket arms at our hero. Captain Underpants grabbed the giant robo-arms and swung them around toward his foes. These might come in handy, said the waistband warrior. Chapter 25, the incredibly graphic violence chapter in Flip a Warmer. Warning! The following chapter contains scenes that are so violent and naughty you aren't allowed to view them. We're not kidding. Do not read the following chapter. Do not even look at it. Just skip ahead to page 156 and don't ask any questions. Don't breathe on it easy. So we're going to skip ahead. Oh no, I'm not able to skip ahead.
Hey, what are you doing there? You're not supposed to be looking at this chapter. It's too violent and naughty. Now bend over and give yourself 11 spankings at a timeout before proceeding to the next page. Maybe then you'll learn to follow instructions.
And we know how to do flip-o-rama. All right, roughen up the Robo-George. Bonk, 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 bonk. Flip-o-rama 2, horribly hurtin', the Herald 2000. Poke in the eyes, poke in the eyes, poke in the eyes. Flip-o-rama number 3, let's put our heads together. Noggin pump, a bonk, a bonk. Flip-o-rama number 4, the super smashy cyber slam. The wonk, the wonk, the wonk. Chapter 26, Reversed Psychology 2. The giant robots were defeated, but the battle was not over yet. Harold ran back to their treehouse to grab the 3D hypno ring, while George ran back to everything except fabric softener for some more supplies. Soon, George returned to the center of the town carrying a big cardboard box filled with spray cans. What are you doing with that? Asked Harold, who had just arrived with the 3D hypno ring. I'm taking this extra strength spray starch someplace where Wedgie Woman won't be able to find it. George shouted rather loudly. Extra strength spray starch, cried the Wicked Wedgie Woman. That's just what I need. Her winding hair lashed out at George, stopping him dead in his tracks. Then 9 twisting braids each grabbed a can from the box and began spraying them at Captain Underpants. A huge cloud of mist filled the air, covering everything in sight and making these 2 pages incredibly easy to draw. When the cloud finally lifted, all of Wedgie Woman's hair was gone. In fact, all of everybody's hair was gone. See? George explained. There was no spray starch in this box. This box was just a cleverly disguised carton of hair remover. I used reverse psychology on her. Ah! Screamed Harold as he clutched his bald head. My mom's gonna lay hard-boiled eggs when she sees me. Relax, said George. Our hair will grow back. Well, that's easy for you to say, said Harold. Your hair only is half an inch long. Chapter 27, Reverse Psychology. Well, Wicked Wedgie Woman, said Captain Underpants, it's off to jail with you. Wait a second, said Harold. We'll take care of Wedgie Woman. You go back to school, put some clothes on, and then wash your face. Yeah, bub, said George. Use plenty of water. We've got work to do. Okay, said Captain Underpants. So Captain Underpants did as he was told, and in no time at all, he was back to his cruppy old self. It was now time to transform Wicked Wedgie Woman back to her old self, too, with some slight modifications. Okay, said Harold. Remember when we hypnotized Miss Ribble, and she did the opposite of everything we wanted her to do? Yeah, said George. Well, If we want to set things right, Harold continued, we've got to hypnotize her into doing the opposite of what we want. I'm way ahead of you, said George. So the two boys once again hypnotized their teacher, only this time they used reverse psychology on her. From now on, said George, you will always be known as Wedgie Woman. You will keep all of your superpowers too, said Harold. You will not. Oh, you will keep all of your superpowers too, said Harold. You will not go back to teaching 4th grade, said George. You will remember everything that happened in the last 2 weeks, said Harold. You will not change our grades back to normal, said George. You will not become the nicest teacher in the history of Jerome Horowitz Elementary School, said Harold. And you will not bake fresh chocolate chip cookies for our class every day, said George. George, said Harold sternly, stop goofing around. I can't help it, said George. You should never hypnotize anybody when you're hungry. Okay, said Harold. Let's just snap our fingers and pray that this works. Snap. Chapter 28, to make a long story short, it did. Chapter 29, Better Living Through Hypnosis. The next day, Ms. Ribble entered the classroom looking a whole lot friendlier than usual.
Ah, boys and girls, said Ms. Ribble, I have some good news for you.
Hooray, cried the children.
It's time for English class, said Ms. Ribble.
Oh, man, moaned the children.
Today, said Ms. Ribble, I've asked George and Harold to lead the class.
Hooray, cried the children.
They're going to teach us about creative writing, said Ms. Ribble.
Oh, man, moaned the children.
By showing us how to make our own comic books,
said Ms. Ribble. Hooray, cried the children.
While they're doing that, said Ms. Ribble, I'm going to pass out something for you all to work on.
Oh, man, moaned the children.
Homemade chocolate chip cookies, said Ms. Ribble.
Hooray, cried the children. Oh, this is awesome, said Harold. But do you think it was right for us to change her personality like we did?
Sure, why not, said George. She's happier. She'll probably live longer.
You're right, said Harold. I guess hypnosis is a pretty cool thing sometimes.
How to make comics. Then again, as we all know, sometimes it isn't.
Were these cookies hard to bake?
No, dear. They were a snap.
Bing!
Oh, no, screamed Harold.
Here we go again, screamed George.
Tra-la-la! And that is the end of the epic 5th novel by Dav Pilkey. All right, good night. I love you.